Good morning. I'm hoping the lighting's all right. um, I'm making a sleeve for my laptop. The laptop is there. I can't zoom you in anymore. It won't let me. Um, so I did. If you watched the video I did with Eleanor, I redid another cover. It's the really thick, sort of like Bosal type foam. So I've done it in slightly brighter colours, which is more me, basically. I think you'll agree. It's not my best stitch and flip, but it's fine. I just want a protective case for this and the 2 bags of gubbins that go with it, the charger lead and the mouse, because it sits up in my room, and when you're cutting fabric and doing paints and stuff, it can get rather messy. So I just need something nice and protective to put it in whilst it's in my room. So it's not a bag, it's a sleeve. So that's going to be the front cover. I've got a plain piece for the back, but before I do the back, I need to put a pocket. So I've got the backing fabric here, which is this really nice sort of vintagey florally looking one. It's just a cotton, nothing exciting. So I'm going to put a zipped pocket on the back basically. Yeah, so what I need to do, I want the pocket to be like the front, as in stripped piece. So I've got these bits left over from when I did the front cover. So I'm just going to do this. I'm thinking it's going to be big enough. It's going to be a zipped pocket there. Yeah, that should be plenty big enough, hopefully. We'll find out. So I'm going to quilt onto this self-adhesive. Actually, I could. Let me think. Because it's going to go onto there, so that'll be... Yeah, I need to get some backing fabric. Right, okay, so what I'll do is I'll just sort myself out, and then I'll take you down to the sewing machine and we'll do that together. Won't be long, hopefully. Right, okay, I've got a piece of polyester batting wadding stuff, the self-adhesive one, that I'm going to do the flip and stitch for the pocket. If that makes sense. The other thing I've got, obviously, is a big zip and a zip casing. I'll show you all that in a minute. And I'm going to use this. It's the last scrap of this beautiful fabric that I'm going to use for the inside of the pocket, basically. So the next bit, I think I'll put you on time lapse because I'm not quite sure how long it's going to take to stitch this. I do get very confused with flip and stitch. So yeah, I'll pop you on time lapse and we'll see how it goes. All right. See you in a bit. Right, it's all done. So there's the pocket front. I've just gone round with a very narrow zigzag stitch just to hold it all in. Now, if you're an experienced quilter, I know, I know, I'm not the best. Let me just angle you down a bit. Yeah, it's my version of strip and stitch. Okay, no judgment. Right, so that's going to be the front of the pocket. So now I need to put the zip on because I want it to be a zipped front pocket. I've been trying to sit and think why I use the fusible stuff, and I don't know why. But I guess when it's made, I can fuse the lining onto there. Yeah, doesn't matter. Right, so let's put the zip on. So I've got an enormous, huge zip. I buy the biggest ones that they do, basically, and then I can just cut them off when I want to. Now, a lifesaver is this stuff. It's self-adhesive bias tape. And for doing zips, it's amazing. So it saves you having to have like 300 clips on your piece of work. Yeah, anything that'll work as a cheat for me, I'm afraid. So I'm just going to stick that along there. Yeah, I get all discombobulated when there's like hundreds of clips and stuff, and then I go wonky, and then I get really annoyed with myself. So yeah, I think you're supposed to stick it on your zip, but hey ho. I'm sticking it on the fabric because let's do everything the wrong way, shall we, Susan? Yeah, let's. And of course the trick with this is getting the backing tape off. Ta-da. Right, so zip goes face side down. So that's your face side with your do for sticking up. And I'm just going to overlap it and pray to the zip gods that I remember to move the thingy in before I stitch. Or cut, rather. Right, so I could have overlapped that a bit more. Will it come off without taking the tape off? Yes, it will. It holds it just enough. Sorry, I'm just going to really overlap it, so I haven't got to worry about moving the zip when I stitch the zip, the zip head on. I usually do it on my big table, but you might want to see. Right, the right sides together with your fabrics, okay, and then that goes on top of there. Again, you can stick it. I'm not going to, basically. I need my zipper foot though. Just line everything up roughly. I've got a little bit of wiggle room on this, not a lot, but and then stitch. And if you just put your foot down, it'll kind of sit next to the teeth. Let's take it off zigzag, Susan. Oh, that one. And just going to make the stitch a little bit longer. Yeah, and then I'm going to stitch, and hopefully I had to wind a bobbin, so it was on super fast. Just slow that down a bit. See, no drama, llamas. Holding the zip. I have a million clips. I need to trim. I always, I don't know, just oversize my fabric slightly. I prefer to trim rather than, you know, have it too short, basically. So that's the zip stitched on there. So now we're going to fold the lining that away. I'm just going to give it a quick press, bear with me, because it does make a difference. For the top of the zip, to stitch it to the bag, I've got a 4-inch piece of fabric here. You fold it in half. Stay still. Right, you fold it in half and then in half again to make a casing, basically, for the top of the zip, which then that gets stitched to your bag. I'll show you, don't worry. Don't worry. Let me just iron this, and then you leave that tape on. It washes away. This will never get washed, as I say, but it does wash away if you need it to. So, and it, as I say, it just stops the drama of having like a million clippy things. Sorry, I'll be back with you. Let me pause you while I just iron. It won't be a sec. Right, it's all ironed. I've just chopped one long end off of the zip. I'm just going to do a couple of stitches just to make sure that doesn't come undone. If it's a nylon zip, you can easily stitch over them. I'm just going to cut the other end now. I have moved, I'll just show you, I've moved my zipper head out of the way. So I'm just going to run a couple of stitches here. And just to hold it while I snip that bit off as well. And having an oversized zip means I haven't got to worry about catching these metal bits, which are on the beginning and the end. So that's the other end. You can keep these bits and make them into little handles if you want to. If this was going to be a bag with a handle, I'd have moved the zip right to the end, and then I would have kind of doubled the zip back to make a handle. That looks quite nice actually. It's different anyway, let's put it like that. So what is going on here with all these threads? Right, so I'm going to sort of almost close that, but not quite. I want it to remain undistorted. So again, you can I was going to say, oh, you can use the tape again if you want to, but this casing, if you like, I think I would call it that, it just needs to come over your zip like that. Hindsight being the wonderful thing, I should not have cut my zipper off yet, but never mind. I think I will use the tape. just make it a little bit easier on myself. You can get an iron-on one, but I go for the self-adhesive. I used to feel like it was a cheat, but I'm quite the fan of Christine's Home Affairs, and she uses them quite a lot. So if you've watched her videos, you'll know that. Right, so that's on the in the bin. Okay, right, let go of my finger. Thank you. You're not seeing half of this, are you? This is the cack-handed way of doing everything. Because, you know, it's me. Why would it be perfect? Let's stick the front first, Susan, shall we? Yeah, that's a good idea. Right. Okay, I don't want to get too close to the teeth. I can't actually see. I'm trying to do this and film for you guys at the same time. I just move it over here. Sorry, I can't see what I'm doing. Sorry, wobbled you. Just going to give that a good... It's become unpressed. Right, I'm just going to top stitch now, which will hold the zip in at the same time, basically. You can put zipper tabs on if you want to. And they're just little tabs that go at the back of the, or the end of the zip. Move the zip head out of the way for a minute. I'm just going to move it down as opposed to back, because I'm worried it might come off the end, although I have stitched it. I don't like to chance my arm, because I've never tried to put one of those back on. It's probably dead easy. Again, I just cut a lump off. I didn't measure. This is the very last of this fabric, so it's a bit sort of like, you know. So there's the zip casing on. You're probably like, what the heck are you actually doing? Well, this is where it all comes together, hopefully. Where's me backing? Oh, just a mile away. All right. So this is the backing, and again you might be thinking you haven't finished your raw edges. Well, there isn't going to be any raw edges because this, again, it's impossible to show you here. Let me get you on the other side. Hold on. Right, you're sort of sideways on. Sorry, it's a bit higgledy-piggledy here. Are you moving? No. Right. Okay, so I've got the backing fabric down here, and this now will line up at the bottom, hopefully, and at the sides here. You can't see, let me move you down a bit. So when I stitch back and front together, I will come down here and I will enclose all of the raw seams. Okay, so that's its final position there basically. And then what will happen is when that's stitched on, I'll have a lined zipped pocket. I hope that makes sense. I think it does. Not sure. I will use some clips. Just to hold that on there. And then I just need to make a lining for the actual bag. So yeah, this all gets enclosed, and this gets top stitched along here, which holds it onto. Well, I can do that now actually. There's no reason why not. I'll move that out of the way. Oh, there goes a clip. Clip down. Oh, no. I'll find it with the vacuum cleaner. Right, okay, I'll stitch that across. So I'll move you again. Hold tight. Right, you're back in front of the machine. Right, let's just stitch this down. Let's get an ordinary foot on now. I don't need the zipper foot anymore. You'll have to let me know if this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I'm a little bit ad hoc with my stitching. Now with my machine I can actually move the needle position right over. Okay, that's as far as it'll go. So that I've got the edge of my foot lined up with the top here, so that's all it is. Makes it easier for me. Whatever makes it easier for me is good by my standing. It's very wobbly stitching, I do apologise. When you see this you'll go, really? And I'll go, yeah, well this is just for me. When I'm making stuff to sell, I'm a lot more fussier, I can tell you. Scissors. Right. Okay, so that is now a stitched, what can you see, not a lot. Let me move you back a little bit. So it's actually a stitched on pocket now. Okay, so it's on the back and it's lined, and yeah. So now if you really, like I've done white thread here, let me show you up close. Okay, it's kind of showing up quite a lot, which isn't exactly thrilling me. So I've got a permanent marker here. Let me show you the difference. I don't know if you can see. Kind of makes it disappear. This is the bit I've coloured. This is not. I don't know. But yeah, this is a quite handy cheat. And of course, with it being a permanent marker, it's not going to wash out even if somebody washes something. So if you really sort of made a mistake and didn't colour match your thread, although this is sort of red and orange, I think it'd have been quite hard to find a thread to colour match perfectly, but it's showing up quite a lot on the yellow. Have I got a yellow? Sorry, reaching in front of you. Just where it's yellow, go to yellow. Where it's beigey colour, go beige. And it disappears. It's the bottom one I've done. Get a focus? No. Okay. All right. Okay, the next thing is to make a lining for the whole bag. and then it'll be done basically. I'm not going to put fastenings on it. It doesn't need it. As I say, it's just going to be a sleeve. It's not going to be a bag as such. I can't envisage that I'll be taking it out and about, and if I do, I've got my works laptop bag downstairs if I need to put it in a proper sort of carry. Although I can probably just easily add some handles to this should I wish. Right, that's more or less disappeared now, so I'm happy with that. Let's get the right lids on. No, you need to go on there, and you need to go on there. Right, yeah, I shall cut some lining fabric because I haven't done that. But it's looking rather colourful so far, don't you think? So yeah, we've got a functioning pocket, and that'll be plenty big enough for big stretch for my leads to go in. I'll show you it. Right, so yeah, I'm going to cut some fabric and we'll get this finished. Back in a tick. Right, I'm just going to show you, sew front and back together. As I say, this is a sleeve. If it was going to be a bag, I'd be putting a zip on the top, but it's not. So that is that really. So I am going to use some clips here. I'm just I'm kind of dreading this because I've not stitched with this foam stuff before, not this really thick one. I don't know if you can see it, it's a really super thick foam. I think it's like a Bozal. I don't even remember buying it, but anyway, yeah. And I've done a very quick lining, literally a square the same size as the bag, out of blue cotton, so that'll be fine, and just stitched that and left a gap at the bottom for turning. Yeah. I'm not quite sure how this is going to go, but we shall see. Now, another thought to check, have I got it up the right way? Yep, I think that's the way I wanted it. So this is the top, so we'll start from the top. My machine is going to hate this. I'm going to do quite a generous 1/2 inch, I think. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a 1/2 inch seam. I did make plenty of allowance. And the most important thing was I moved my zip out of the way. It's in the middle here. Now then, where's that? I'm going to use my gadget because I can't see the 1/2 inch. Not the right way, Susan. Can't see my 1/2 inch when it goes under the machine. So let's try this thing. In theory, I just let the fabric run along there. Who knows? I've not used it before. I'm not going to box the bottoms. I left plenty of seam allowance that it should just slip in. If I find that when I go to put it in, if I find it's too tight, then I will just deconstruct it, if you like, and put a box bottom in. You can add those afterwards if you need to. I don't think it needs to. You'll find out with me. The pocket, I did just do a little, about 2 inches of stitching to stitch it to the back, to the lining fabric of the pocket, just to make sure it wasn't going to move when I started this part of it. If that makes any sense whatsoever. That's about 1/2 inch. Needs to go over a little bit more. This gadget is working brilliantly. If you've got one, you're probably going, duh, they do work. I need to give my machine a clean after I've done this. This is making some very strange rattling noises. Right, that thing works brilliantly. That's that magnetic. I don't know what it was called actually. Yeah, it's really strong, so it's good. Let's put that back on the 1/2 inch mark. That's great. Because my tendency was to go back to the width of the foot. I'd start here, all well and good, and then I'd wander back. I could never understand why my seams were so flipping wonky all the time. Right, I'm going to really miter these corners because that is super thick. So if you go across the corner and then come in, you get that, hopefully, a nice mitre, but we'll see. I might need to trim it right back again. Let's have a look what this looks like. I might need to get the pinking shears out, but as I say, it's so thick. Oh, it might have been a mistake, but I wanted a nice padded case. Boy, have I got one. Hang on, we're getting there. You watch at the end of this, I'll put the laptop in and it won't fit. Chopstick. I've got blinking camera things in the way. Ugh, the things that I do. Come on. It's going to go slightly rounded. It's so puffy. It's unbelievable. I think a good steam pressing, and it'll be a bit more compliant, maybe. Right. Okay. Wow. Let me. So that's the one with the pocket. Oh, da-da, da-da. I'm always surprised when stuff works. And that's the front. I really like it. I'm really pleased. Yay! Right. Okay. So let's put the lining on, and as I say, it's just going to be a slip-in one. I'm hoping the laptop's going to fit. Let's finish this bit first, shall we? So, right sides together, your lining. Put your bag inside your lining, basically. It's the easiest way to do a top of a bag or whatever you're making. Line up your side seams. So that's there, that's there. This is where, if you're going to put handles on, you could put them on now if you wanted to. I don't. So it's literally just to keep the dust off it in this craft room of mine, which tends to get very dusty, painty, messy. Cool, I've cut that lining well, haven't I? No. But the rest of it fits really well. Are you entertained? Good ear, isn't it, eh? Yeah, Mrs. Budget. Yeah. I find it easier, excuse me, if I remove that to do this bit. See, look at the dust. Well, I don't know if you can see. But yeah, just from just doing a little bit of sewing. Put it on the floor. Be fine. If you haven't got a machine where this bit becomes exposed, you can just sort of bend it and manipulate it. It doesn't really matter. What on earth is going on here? I can't see my edge of my fabric. Right, this is better. When I do a 1/2 inch seam, keeps on pushing it up. Go in. That's a bit extravagant. Let's just do 3/8. Actually no, I'll tell you what, I'll just do the edge of the presser foot. I think that's probably easiest. I'll pause you, stitch this together, and we'll turn it through together and try the laptop. Won't be long. Right, it's done. Let me tell you the trauma while I show you. Okay, so that's the back. It could be the front, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, that's that nice lined pocket that we ended up with, and then that's the back or the front. Probably that's going to be the back, isn't it? But anyway, let me tell you about the trauma. So I've got it all stitched, top stitched, lovely. It didn't blinking fit, so I had to undo it all basically, and I had to reduce the margin, the seams. So I had to undo it all. So it's just in. It could do with being a bit deeper, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, but it is going to protect it from the dust in this room. So that's that. Now the other thing I haven't tried is putting in the bits and bobs. Should have done that before I did this. Oh, it was a nightmare. I thought, it's going to fit, it's going to fit. No, it did not fit. Yeah, these are going to be tight. Okay, this might not be the perfect ending of a project. I've never made one before. I was not looking for perfection. My sizes are all wrong. It needed to be at least a good 2 inches bigger all the way round, and then it would have given it plenty of room to move. But you know, you live, you learn, don't you? I've never made one before, like I said, so it's fine. It does what I need it to do. It keeps everything together. It does shut. So yeah, it needed to be 2 inches taller and 2 inches wider, and that would have been perfect. But it is perfect as far as I'm concerned, as it is. So there we are, all done. Hope that wasn't too dramatic for you. Oh, I could have cried. I mean, luckily I'd done that 1/2 inch, and just letting it out that 1/4 of an inch, it did the job. So anyway, I'll leave you in peace. Bye.